reports. All right, we want to continue to bring you some of the latest developments and updates regarding our next story here. This is from the NTSB today, issuing their preliminary report for its ongoing investigation on the November 4th crash of a UPS Boeing MD-11F airplane in Louisville, Kentucky. And again, we were on the air when this was happening. Just a tragic situation that played out, no doubt about it. We want to get some updates and analysis on this. So I want to bring in our next guest to help break that all down. This is Captain Rusty Amer. Great to have you on. And Captain, first off, what did you think of this preliminary report, and share your thoughts with us?
Hi, Mike. As you mentioned, it is a prelim report. It's very, very basic, what basically happened. And this may take another year or two, perhaps, till they have the final result published. Sadly, we kind of knew exactly what happened. In fact, I wrote something the day after the crash that is exactly what the finding shows. And if you don't mind, I even have a little prop to show you.
Yes, go for it.
This is a DC-10, the older brother or older sister of this MD-11. DC-10, I flew this thing 43 years ago. Shortly after the crash of an American 191 in Chicago, that was about 45 years ago, if I remember correctly. And it's very similar to what happened to the UPS. Now, UPS aircraft was an MD-11. It's an upgraded version of this old 3-engine DC-10, which was an excellent airplane to fly. I really enjoyed flying it for a short time. It's an old airplane, reliable for most part. But what happened in Chicago was that they lost one of the engines. It actually departed the aircraft. We're trained to handle engine separation, destruction, fires, and anything like it. But in this case with UPS, as NTSB now indicates, the engine pylon is the small area that attaches to the wing, attaches the engine to the wing. That pylon failed from the wing, and the engine departed the aircraft as it was rotating, and it went literally over the wing, and ended up on the other side of the departing runway. As a result of the separation of this number 1 engine, some foreign object, FOD as we call them, and fire, literally the fire, went into the center engine and caused this center engine, or number 2 engine, to backfire, or compressor stall as we call it, basically losing power. So this aircraft, as it rotated, basically lost 2 engines, not just 1. Normally, a 3-engine aircraft would fly very nicely on 2 engines, or by the loss of 1 engine. But in this case, both engines kind of lost power, and they barely made it to about 30 feet as altitude, as they indicate. And also, when these 2 engines are not producing any thrust, this number 3 engine is still good and is producing power. So it pushes the aircraft. It literally flies this wing and pushes the aircraft to go into a violent roll that they could not control. There was nothing these pilots could do to save that aircraft, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the most unfortunate part there, and no doubt they were trying to fly it to the very end. Captain, now that the preliminary report is out there, you said about 2 years now that we could see the final report. What happens from really now until that final report happens?
They basically have an idea what happened to this engine pylon, why it separated from the wing. There was some corrosion, perhaps, or cracks in the attachment part, the bolts, the nuts that hold this engine to the pylon, almost like the one that crashed. So what they do, the metallurgists, the scientists, they look into every single piece that they discovered from this aircraft. Most probably they put the aircraft together in a hangar and try to rebuild the aircraft to the best of their ability. And they look at just about every possibility. Why did this aircraft crashed and what caused it, which could be failure of that attachment. This airplane was pretty old, over 40 years old. And it doesn't really matter if it's maintained properly. There are some DC-3s, the older brothers of the MD-11, that are still flying after 90 years. If you take care of an aircraft perfectly, you can fly it. But they would look into the practices, maintenance practices at UPS, at FedEx, and rightfully they've grounded, both UPS and FedEx have grounded all their MD-11 fleet.
Now, beyond the grounding, can they look at just some of the ways that they go about on maintenance schedules and looking at a plane that way? What type of what can they do beyond just grounding it so they look at more of the ways that the maintenance records are shown and really delivered?
Maintenance, they follow the manufacturer's recommendation. In other words, when Boeing or the old McDonnell Douglas sold you that aircraft, they gave you a stack of books that were that high that told you exactly what you do maintenance wise, how to take care of this airplane, what kind of inspections you do on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, up to what we call a D-check, when they literally dismantle the entire aircraft and they put it back together, put new parts, they inspect anything. I suspect all these years that this aircraft's been flying, it's been through several D-checks where they dismantle the entire aircraft and rebuild it again. So what they're going to do is they're going to look into those recommendations. Are they enough? Perhaps maybe we should have looked at them a little sooner than every 10,000 hours or every 5,000 hours. Do some inspections, x-rays of the nuts and bolts. There's a procedure called eddy current where they send electronic signals into a piece of metal to look for hairline cracks that you can't see with eyes.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And again, that preliminary report coming out today. Captain Ross, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox, giving us really a great perspective on what this report says and what it could mean in the future as well. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Mike.
You take care. Have a great evening.